Opinions change. I will admit, when the new road glides and street glides first came out, if you go back and watch some of my videos, I was not a fan. And some of the things have grown on me. Some haven't, some still bug me a little bit. But I just wanted to explain why I kind of flip-flop from really not being a fan to now owning one, in case you care. Hey everyone, welcome back to Bob's Garage. If this happens to be your first time here, thanks for stopping by. I do appreciate it. I make a video here usually once a week from the Charlotte, North Carolina region, and thank God we're into March now, and the weather is warming up. So we can not only talk about our Harley Davidsons, we can actually ride our Harley Davidsons. So that's a good thing. Just if you can give the video a thumbs up, comment if you want to comment, if you disagree, agree, whatever. But if you can just do me a favor and watch till the end, I'll try to keep it brief. It does help the algorithm, you know, that whole thing. So, but anyway, yeah, I sat the other day and I went back and I watched some of my videos from the past. And I did a video on the Road Glide ST when the demo truck came to our local dealership here, Speedway Harley Davidson. And I went and I rode the Road Glide ST because that was like the big new thing, you know, everybody was raving about it. And I said that my expectations were probably high because of all the hype around the bike. And while some things impressed me, I was like, I just don't see that it's worth $43,000, $46,000, $50,000. And I still feel very strongly that I don't believe that bike, you know, especially after owning a 2024 Road Glide with the regular 117, I just don't see, it just doesn't make sense to spend 40 some odd thousand dollars, close to 50. In fact, when you're with tax and you're out the door dealer fees, you're gonna be 50 grand. It doesn't make sense to me. And I'll explain why, but some of the things that I said I didn't like. One of the things that sticks out was I didn't like the controls on the bars. They're just these big round orbs. Now, I mentioned how I thought they were fugly. I didn't like them, and now I will admit that they have grown on me. They are still large, but they're very user friendly. They're very easy to operate. They're large like that for a reason. There's a lot of stuff that goes on there. They do serve a lot of purposes. And I think the biggest thing was they were just so different from what I was used to. So maybe they weren't, maybe I didn't like them, maybe I just wasn't used to them. Now that I've had them on my bike, I don't even realize that they're there. I also mentioned that I wasn't overly impressed with the infotainment system because on the bike I was riding, every time I would hit a pothole or a bump or a manhole, it would glitch, which, like, I was on a Road Glide ST, nearly a $50,000 motorcycle. That should not be happening. And when I mentioned it to the guy from Harley that was there with the demo truck, he's like, oh yeah, we're aware of that. I'm like, well, if you're aware of it, either fix it or take it out of rotation because you're making people think that it's defective. And that was dumb. I have not had a single issue with this infotainment system, and I absolutely love it, especially after this latest upgrade that they did. I love it. It's very intuitive, easy to operate. And a lot of people say, well, it's on a Road Glide, you got to reach so far. I don't have to reach for anything. You can do anything that you want to do on there with your hand controls. Everything that you want to do. I don't care what it is. I can go into Google Maps. I can set a destination. Anything that I want to do. I can change songs on my Spotify. There's now a pause button for the music, which there wasn't before, so I can hit the pause. And you know, when I pull up to a light or a gas station, just hit pause. And the sound stops. I'm not driving everybody crazy around me. That's a nice feature. So yeah, the infotainment system, again, now that I'm on one that actually works, and the upgrade they did was great. A lot of people say that it's not true, that you don't get more sound from the stereo. I don't care what they say. I get more sound out of mine. I don't know what it is, but it's much louder, because before, when I'd be on the highway, I could hear it. But like if a new song started, I had like, try to figure out what it was. Now, you can hear every word. At 85 miles an hour, I can hear every word. So it is louder. I don't care what people say, it's louder. Trust me, from someone who owns the bike, it's louder. But some of the things that I said, again, I did the ST, the Road Glide CVO ST. That bike had been so hyped up, it just didn't live up to my expectations. Now, the regular Road Glide, that's the bike that I would recommend if you like the ST. Here's what I'm saying. The difference between the 121 that you're gonna get on that CVO ST and this 117 that I've got on mine, there is a difference, don't get me wrong, but it's not worth $20,000. It just isn't. You can buy a regular Road Glide And if you like that air cleaner that comes on the CVO ST, you can get that. If you like the carbon fiber parts, you can get those. You can dress up a regular Road Glide with that ST package. You can even get the seat, you can get the grips. I have the grips. My son bought them for me for my birthday. So I have the grips that come on the ST, and I love them. They're awesome. So you can build yourself a CVO ST basically for a lot less. You can get the floorboards if you want the mini floorboards, which I will be honest, a lot of people have traded those out. They take off those mini floorboards and they buy the full size. You're gonna do that anyway, so why bother? I just don't see the value in a 40, I think they're 43,000, 46,000, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's a lot of money. I would just go with a regular Road Glide and then dress that up the way you want to. That's what I've done. I mean, I've added the tour pack and I've added the grips and I've added the, I got hand guards. I got an awesome windshield from Long Ride Sheilds. The tour pack came from Hogworks. So I've done a few things. Of course, you're going to want to change the pipes. And that was the other thing too with the CVO Road Glide ST. The stock pipes, and I know they put a lot into them. They're ceramic lined and there's carbon fiber tips and all this stuff, but they sound terrible. They just do. You're going to want to replace those. And if I'm spending $43,000 or whatever it is, I shouldn't have to replace any of that kind of stuff. Now I know that there are EPA requirements. I get that. But that bike, it just, for that kind of money, it sounds like a sewing machine. It just does. So the regular Road Glide, I didn't test ride one that day. I rode an old body style Road Glide that day while I was waiting for the CVO ST to become available. I was already familiar with the old Road Glide. I hadn't ridden one of the new ones. Now I will say that on this new bike, the handlebar positioning is so much better than the CVO ST. Now I know it does have the risers with like the T-bar, that's all the cool kids have. I'm not a fan of T-bars myself. I mean, if you do like them, that's great. You do you. But the hand positioning on these bars on this stock motorcycle are absolutely perfect. You're up here nice and high. On the Street Glide, your hands are down here. I never liked the low bars. My arms would always fall asleep. I'm up here nice and high. There's no need to replace the handlebars on the regular Road Glides. There just isn't. Same thing with the headlight. We were going to our meeting for our Guardians of the Children. We were heading up 77, heading toward Troutman. My wife was in the car. She left before us. She was miles ahead of us. So my son and I are blazing up the express lane on our bikes. And my wife was like, she could see my headlight. She's like, it looked like you were like a mile away and I could just see this light. The headlight, the stock headlight is so bright. People are taking those out and replacing them with a $1,500 headlight. There's no need. This thing is plenty bright enough. It's so much bright. Now, again, the old motorcycle, the old style Road Glide, you need to replace that. That headlight was horrible. This is not. This is nice and bright. Even on low beam, people will see you coming. You're visible. At night, you'll be able to see well. So no need to update that. Now, another thing that you have to consider about the Road Glide, there's a $3,000 rebate. I think it's still in effect on the 2024s. So yeah, there was a price increase on the 2025. They went up like $2,000. And you've got a $3,000 rebate. You can save a ton of money and pick up one of these 2024 Road Glides and then add the accessories that you want to make it an ST if you want, or whatever look you want. There's all kinds of stuff that you can order. They have kits, packages now that you can add to your Road Glide or your Street Glide and make it exactly the way you want it. So if you like the ST, and I know the paint is different, there's things that are different about it, but is it really worth 40 some odd $1,000? That's the question you gotta ask. And it's not about being able to afford the bike. I'm sure a lot of us can afford. I could go buy that ST if I wanted to, but like I tell my son all the time, just because you can doesn't mean you should. It doesn't mean it's a smart investment. I just don't see where that, unless you're going to keep that bike forever. And again, I've said this about the CVOs in several videos that I like to make my bike and add accessories. With that CVO ST, I wouldn't change anything. I'd keep it just the way it is because it really is kind of like a collector bike. It's a great looking bike. If I don't know, I just can't see spending $50,000 on it. So that's my rant for this week. I just think that there are so many other options that can just save you money with a Road Glide or a Street Glide. You could take and buy that ST package if you want to and get it looking the way you want. Anyway, that's all I had. I want to thank you all for coming along for the ride. Thanks for sticking around. If you stuck till the end, which you probably didn't, but if you did, thank you. Ride safe, ride often. Now that spring is here, get out there and ride. I'll see you in the next one.